Hey folks, has your sex life taken a nosedive during COVID? Has making love during Corona been rather interesting? I have 3 tips to spice up your sex life now that COVID is nearing an end. Stay tuned. We're back answering your questions about sex and intimacy, all of the above, all of the below. I'm here today. My hubby's not with me. Our schedules are conflicting, but I decided to jump in and continue to answer some of your awesome questions. So this one came from a young woman who is living with her family during the pandemic and saying, Nicole, there's no privacy. How do we have sex? Okay, so you're right. Sex has been tough when we're living with family, when the kids are home all the time, right? But I have 3 tips for you. So the first one is, 1, just so you know, you're not alone. So reports say 44% of people's sex lives have declined during the pandemic because stress has been high, and stress kills sex. Bottom line, stress kills sex. So the tip number 1 is check in with yourselves, check in with your partners. You got to be reducing some of that stress because we got to set the environment, we got to set the tone. And when we're all angst up, when we're worried about getting sick, when we're not around people and not doing the things that typically we may have done to reduce our stress, we're going to be bottled up and it's not going to be the setting for a nice surrender, for a nice connection and passion. We got to set the environment. We got to reduce that stress. That's number 1. Number 2, when you're home with your family, when there's little privacy, instead of focusing on the sex or intercourse itself, focus on pleasure with your partner. Use this as an opportunity to explore more of what brings you both pleasure in your everyday interactions. So going back to that stress thing, we need oxytocin is a great way to relieve stress, but also to fuel your passion and connection with your partner in a different way. So make sure you're really engaging in some eye contact, some snuggles on the couch while you're watching Netflix. Don't be on 2 different ends of the couch. Snuggle, get a cozy blanket. Turn on the fireplace. We're going into summer now, so may not want that. Sit there, in some sexy outfits or even under a blanket if your family is around. Hold hands. Just find ways to connect and to find pleasure with your partner. Go on a walk, take a car drive, anything like that. But don't always focus on that outcome of, oh my God, we haven't had sex for a year because of Corona. We need to have sex. Of course we want to, but focus on that pleasure piece first. See how you can be creative with that. And speaking of creativity, we have number 3, be creative, okay? So sex doesn't just have to be in the bedroom. And I know I have kids, I'm not gonna have sex in my car, that's for teenagers. Okay, listen, sex in the car was never actually comfortable or convenient anyways. It was kind of fun when it was spontaneous, but there are other things you can do in the car to find pleasure, to reach orgasm, all these different things that don't have to be intercourse, right? So be creative with your locations, your whereabouts. Go on a drive, find some privacy in the car, go for a walk, play with each other, touch each other. Intercourse doesn't have to be the outcome goal. And when it's a goal in and of itself, it takes away the passion, it takes away the wanting to connect because there's so much pressure. So find new ways to engage. You can do some sexting from the other room. You can send some nice little selfies. You can just find some non-sexual touch that really brings you together again and feels like, oh my God, my sex life is not declining. We're just finding new ways. We're being creative. Also, lastly, not having a ton of privacy also brings a sense of anticipation and risk to it that many of us haven't had for a long time, especially if we've had kids, especially if we've been in long-term relationships. So if you're living with family, use the opportunity where they're maybe now running to the grocery store, or they've taken a nap, or they're in a work meeting, to go in your room, put on some music, and use that opportunity, right? Use that as an opportunity for spontaneity when maybe it wasn't there before. I know it's tough, but I know you guys can do it. Be creative, use new ways to connect, and remember, intercourse doesn't have to be the outcome. Have fun with it.